Scaling up an electronic product is where reality starts to really set in. Prototyping is fun and exciting because you get something working and it feels like you're making real progress. But once you start to try to move away from just a handful of units and scale up to hundreds or thousands of units, then new costs start popping up that most people never see coming. These aren't deal breakers, but they're definitely things you want to plan for in advance. And in many cases, there are smart ways to keep these costs down if you know about them ahead of time. And before you get overwhelmed, just remember that most scaling costs don't have to come out of your own pocket. They're often best funded through pre-sales or crowdfunding campaigns. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through 10 of the biggest hidden costs that catch hardware entrepreneurs by surprise when they start scaling up. Hi, I'm John Teal. I'm a former microchip design engineer for TI who developed and launched my own hardware product, and now I help others do the same. Let's start with one that surprises a lot of people. When you're building prototypes, you can just test each board by hand. But once you move into real manufacturing, factories need fast, repeatable, automated ways to test every single unit, and that's where production test fixtures come in. So a test fixture is a custom jig specifically built for your board. It holds the board in place, and then it makes quick connections using little pogo pins that push down and make contact, and it runs automated software to verify that everything's working correctly. These fixtures often cost thousands of dollars to design and build, and you're also going to need engineering time to develop and test the procedures and software that go with it. One way to keep this cost down is to start with a simpler, semi-manual fixture for your first production runs before investing in a fully automated setup. Planning for testing early also helps avoid last-minute surprises. There's even a term for it called Design for Testability, or DFT, which basically means designing your product from the start so that it can be tested efficiently in production. Now, this next one blindsides a lot of first-time founders. Certifications are where many people get tripped up. You can ship prototypes without them, but once you want to sell at scale, then you need approvals like FCC, CE, and possibly UL or IEC safety testing. These tests themselves are expensive, but the real surprise comes if your design fails and has to be redesigned and retested. To keep costs down, use pre-certified components wherever possible, like a pre-certified wireless module or an off-the-shelf AC wall adapter. Another smart move is to get a design review early from someone familiar with compliance so you can be sure that you're building certification readiness into your design from the start. And if you're not even sure what certifications your product actually needs or how much they're going to cost, I've built a free certification estimator tool that walks you through all of it. You just answer a few simple questions about your product, and it tells you what certifications you're going to need and how much they're going to cost. You can find the link in the description below or scan this QR code right here. All right, moving on to one of the biggest upfront costs that you're going to face, and that's injection mold tooling. 3D printing and CNC machining are great for prototypes, but once you move to volume production, you're going to most likely need injection molding. And unfortunately, molds are expensive, often tens of thousands of dollars. They usually need a few modifications after the first shots too, which adds even more time and cost. There are ways to manage it though. Early on, you can sometimes use 3D printed molds or inserts that are made from high temperature plastics or ceramic. Once you're closer to production, then aluminum molds are a good middle ground, and they're cheaper and easier to modify than steel molds. Then, once your design is finally refined, then you can invest in hardened steel molds for long-term production. Another way to ease the cost is by working with a manufacturing partner who's truly invested in your success and not just filling orders. With my own product, for example, my factory actually amortized the mold cost by charging me just a little extra per unit until the mold was finally paid off. That turned what would have been a big upfront cost for me into a manageable ongoing one. Next up is one that can drain your cash flow really quickly, and that's minimum order quantities. Suppliers often require you to buy components or enclosures in minimum quantities, even if you don't need that many yet. That ties up cash and can leave you with a pile of extra inventory. This is another area where good partnerships really help. In my case, my manufacturer believed in my product and actually lowered the MOQ and even financed my first order by giving me 90-day payment terms after shipping. That basically meant they lent me the money for the first production run. But that kind of trust usually comes only after you've shown some traction, things like pre-sales or a successful crowdfunding campaign. In my case, I had written interest from a major retailer. If you can prove demand, then manufacturers are much more willing to negotiate on MOQs or even help with financing. Now let's talk about packaging, because this one is so easy to overlook. At scale, packaging becomes a much bigger deal. It's not just about protecting your product during shipping, it also needs to help sell your product, especially if you're going into retail. For online sales, packaging is a lot less critical, and a simple protective box works just fine since the selling happens online. That's usually the best way to keep costs down early on, keep it functional and simple, and stick to online sales so the packaging isn't nearly as critical. Then, if you move into retail later, you can invest in something that looks great on the shelf where the packaging itself helps drive sales of the product. Here's one that almost everyone unfortunately runs into, and that's redesigns during manufacturing. Even after you've got a working prototype, you'll almost always face design tweaks once you start manufacturing. Factories might suggest changes that make assembly faster, improve reliability, or reduce yield loss. It might be as simple as adjusting a screw boss or moving a connector for easier access. Now, I know these redesigns can be frustrating, but they usually save money in the long term. One way to minimize them is to involve your manufacturer early. Share your design before it's final so they can spot any production issues ahead of time. Now, this one is a big deal. As your volume increases, you can't assume that if one unit works, they're all going to work. Components vary, mistakes happen, and small issues can multiply fast. That's why factories rely on quality control and reliability testing. QC means pulling random units from each production batch for inspection or even destructive testing. Reliability testing might include vibration, drop, or thermal cycling. These processes definitely add cost, but they're absolutely essential if you want to avoid large-scale failures. One way to manage this early is to run your own simple reliability test during development. Drop it, heat it up, expose it to humidity, freeze it, do everything that you can to try to push it to its limits. Doing that up front helps uncover problems long before you hit the production line. And if you're not sure which test makes sense for your specific product, I've put together a free reliability test tool that gives you recommendations based on your product type. You can find it below in the description or scan this QR code. Next comes logistics and shipping, and this one adds up faster than most people expect. Getting your products built is only half the battle. Now you've got to move them around the world. Freight, customs, tariffs, warehousing, and last mile delivery all add up quickly. At small volumes, you can sometimes store and ship your product from home, but once you start growing, you're going to want to work with a third-party logistics provider. Now, most of these providers charge based on the warehouse space your products take up, and they offer pick, pack, and ship services. This helps keeps things flexible and simple and saves you from having to rent your own warehouse. Now let's move into something that I bet you've probably not thought to budget for, and that is support infrastructure. Scaling up also means supporting more customers, or at least hopefully, right? And this is an area a lot of people forget about. Support infrastructure includes warranty claims, returns, spare parts, and customer service. If you don't plan for it, it can eat into your margins and your time, especially really fast. It's not just about having software or ticketing systems. You'll need processes for handling defective units, a budget for replacements, and even extra inventory set aside specifically for warranty support. Having that in place makes a big difference between a happy repeat customer and a frustrated customer who never comes back. And finally, let's end with the cost almost everyone forgets, and that's customer acquisition cost. Scaling production doesn't matter if you don't have a plan to sell the product. Ads, influencers, trade shows, distribution deals, they all cost money. The best way to control these costs is to start building your audience early before you launch. If you can grow an email list or build a following through content, that massively reduces what you'll need to spend on paid marketing later. But one way or another, getting customers is going to cost you something, and it's critical to plan for that when you're budgeting for scale. If you'd like my help minimizing these costs and avoiding expensive mistakes, you can get it inside the Hardware Academy. And if you found this video helpful, then watch this one next. It's going to help you take your product one step closer to successful production.